Wisdom, the final frontier to true knowledge. Welcome to Wisdom Trek, where our mission is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. Hello, my friend. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your captain on our journey to increase wisdom and create a living legacy. Thank you for joining us today as we explore wisdom on our second millennium of podcast. This is day 1539 of our trek, and it is time for Meditation Monday. Taking time to relax, refocus, and reprioritize our lives is crucial in order to create a living legacy. For you, it may be just a time alone for quiet reflection, or you may utilize some sort of structured meditation practices. In my life, meditation includes reading and reflecting on God's Word and in prayer. It is a time to renew my mind, refocus on what is most important, and making sure that I am nurturing my soul, mind, and body. As you come along with me on our trek each Meditation Monday, it is my hope and prayer that you too will experience a time of reflection and renewing of your mind. We are continuing our series this week on Meditation Monday as we focus on mastering Bible study through a series of brief insights from Hebrew scholar Dr. Michael S. Heiser. Our current insights are focusing on the accuracy of interpreting the Bible. Today, let us meditate on Bible study, words, correlation, and causation. Insight number 45. Words don't mean anything by themselves. We all know from experience that the words we use can be understood and intended in different ways. No word means the exact same thing every time that we use it. I love my wife, and I love pizza. But the pizza really isn't giving my wife any competition for my attention. My emotional attachment to my wife is of a different nature and intensity than my desire for pizza. I can use the word love for both. What helps us so easily parse the difference here? It boils down to real life. Our experiences provide context. Words don't really mean anything in isolation. They can't mean anything until they are put in context. Context determines word meanings. Nothing else does. For some reason, this obvious truth gets lost for some Bible students who are doing word studies. The process goes something like this. Research tools help us to identify the original language word behind the English word that draws our interest in a particular verse. Then we look up that word in a word study dictionary. So far, so good. Here's why many Bible students go off the tracks. Students often use these dictionaries to discover what the Greek or Hebrew word can mean. Then they latch onto an interesting option. Then they dig for verses where the word has the meaning that they're looking for. The fact that the word can have a given meaning, and it does in other verses, justifies in their minds assigning that meaning to the word in the verse that's under their scrutiny at the time. This isn't word study. This is cherry-picking a meaning for a list of possibilities and considering other contexts. Seeing that clearly should remind us that a word's meaning in one instance may be different in another. Real word studies take time. There is no substitute for discerning the contexts that come to bear on a word that you are studying and then one by one, testing whether the other meanings are possible in the same setting. Context makes that determination, not a list of possible meanings in a dictionary. Let's move on to insight number 46. Don't confuse correlation with causation. Have you ever seen those commercials that string a series of disastrous events together, leading to how buying this product will save you from all the disasters? In one way, they're funny because they exploit connections between seemingly random, unrelated inverse just to steer you toward a conclusion. As if not liking my haircut will lead to a typhoon. These commercials use non-sequenters, that is, to conclusions that don't logically follow, and at times they're just to make us laugh and remember a product. In that sense, maybe they're effective. One of the most common logical fallacies is the confusion of correlation with causation. The misconception is presuming that two things are related somehow, perhaps by timing, or similarity of appearance or theme. Then we may come to a conclusion that this must mean that one causes or leads to the other. Whether you've had a formal course in logic or not, I'm sure you've encountered this circumstance. You can find examples of it almost every day in newspapers, blogs, and of course in commercials. I ran across one recently in a report about an interesting fact that as the shoe size of elementary kids increase, so do scores on standardized reading exams. Sure, both studies run simultaneously and even on the same kids correlate. But did one cause the other? Should I despair if my child has small feet? I might think Sally will never be able to read well unless her feet grow. I hope you see the errors in this thinking. Confusion, correlation, and causation can be comical, but it isn't funny when it shows up in sermons, Sunday school lessons, and Bible study resources. Even doctrinal beliefs can derive from this logical fallacy. One example that I've seen repeated is the belief that there was a rebellion of 1/3 of the angels in heaven before the fall, which explains the temptation in Eden. The Bible nowhere teaches such a cause and effect. A rebellion of the 1/3 of the angels occur in Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 through 9, but here it is connected to the first coming of Jesus and his resurrection, Revelation chapter 12, verse 5, and it's not tied back to the Garden of Eden. Since Revelation 12 verse 9 mentions the serpent, there is some correlation intended. Very obviously, this rebellion did not precipitate Genesis 3 and the fall. The point should be clear. We must pause and think carefully about any claim we run across or pops into our mind to avoid this fallacy. And let's conclude with our verse for today in Joshua chapter 1 verse 8. Study this book of instruction continually. Meditate on it day and night, so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. Only then will you prosper and succeed in all you do. And that's a wrap for today's meditation. Next week we will continue our trek on Meditation Monday as we take time to reflect on what is most important in creating our living legacy. On tomorrow's trek we will explore another wisdom quote. This 3-minute wisdom supplement will assist you in becoming healthy, wealthy, and wise in all you do. And thank you for joining me for this trek that we call life. And encourage your friends and family to join us and to come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past 1,538 daily treks or read the daily journal, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. And I encourage you to subscribe to Wisdom Trek on your favorite podcast player so that each day will be downloaded to you automatically. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.